So last weekend, we took a look at something called the CBOMB for the PlayStation 4. That being, if the PlayStation 4's battery inside dies and it doesn't have a connection to the PlayStation servers, it won't actually be able to play your physical games. I think, again, the digital side of things, people understand there's probably at some point a need to connect to the servers to just verify ownership, and that's not new, but the idea of locking you out of your physical games seemed to catch everyone off guard. And I asked people throughout the week in Newswave, and even in that video, if you wanted me to take a look at the PlayStation 5 just to see if it suffers from a similar thing. We had verification over this past week that it appears to affect the digital side of things. That's something, again, that I feel like most of us assume would happen, but what about physical games? What about a physical PlayStation 4 game or a physical PlayStation 5 game or even something like Astro's Playroom that just comes with the system? Basically, anyone who owns a PS5 owns this game. So I figured today we'll try the same thing with the PlayStation 5. We'll open it up, we'll pull the battery, let it reset the clock, break the connection to the servers, and see if it can play these different games. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So let's talk about what I have here. I do have the system that we've put through the ringer several times now, and hey, shout out to the PlayStation 5, at least this one, it keeps on going. We've done temperature tests, we've done the teardown, we've checked out the chip, we put different liquid metal on it. It's been through a lot now, but we're gonna be using this PlayStation 5. I also have two games picked out here, one being Shadow of the Colossus, which we tested out with that PlayStation 4, and the other one being Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition on the PlayStation 5. Both of these work fine offline, no issues there. Does not need an internet connection for either of these to start up and just go through the game all the way. I also have gone ahead and just connected through an Ethernet connection here. That way, when I do pull this, it will basically be like if the server just stopped existing. I was concerned if I had it connected through Wi-Fi, it would attempt to automatically connect then, so I made sure we're not dealing with that. Once I unplug this, there is no connection to the server then. Now, I have gone ahead and installed both of these, made sure they were completely updated to the latest versions of each game, and I also checked them out to make sure everything works fine as expected. They do, and I also went through and checked out Astro's Playroom, make sure that was completely updated, which it's a phenomenal game, by the way, Astro's Playroom, for being a pack-in game with the system. It's probably one of the better, and I would say more immersive PlayStation 5 exclusives right now. So what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and break the connection for the servers, and you'll see it immediately says LAN cable not connected, and we have no connection now to the PlayStation servers at all, which we can just double check Astro's Playroom. It does work fine offline as you'd expect. Like I said, it was a pack-in game, so no issues there. Both physical games also still work, no problem there. So now we have to go ahead and open this up, and we're gonna pull the battery and see what happens to the date, the year, and then of course its ability to play these games. Now, much like the PlayStation 4, from what I remember opening the PS5 several times, you still have to pull the board all the way out to get to that battery, so it's not an easy thing where you can just kind of pop like a door open and there's the battery to replace it. It's certainly something that Sony wasn't really thinking too much about, and we've had some systems where the battery is very easy to get to, like on the original, like the Wii, or even the Wii U, they have like a little door that you just unscrew and the battery just pops right out. Unfortunately for this one, it's not that easy. Also, just a reminder, here's our little door for whenever Sony decides to let us use an NVMe drive. I'm hoping that's something that they're going to introduce here over the summer, but we'll see. So let's talk about actually getting to the battery once you get the side cover off, because you will have to take off the side cover and the fan, and you'll have to disconnect some of these cables, but you won't actually have to unscrew all of those silver motherboard screws that are really annoying because there's like 40 of them or something and it takes forever. You can actually get to the battery by just kind of picking up and flipping the entire thing with the heatsink. If you take a look here, I did unplug all these different cables, and you will still have to unscrew this one right here, but if you've already gone this far, it's not that big of a deal. It is a T8, I believe. Once that comes up though, you can leave these hooked up here and you can actually lift up this whole thing and sort of take a look at the battery. It's right down here. And this battery looks to be a CR2032, very typical battery that again is used in a lot of different systems and it's very easy to get. But let's go ahead and pop it out, hook it back up and see what happens. So we can see it popped out there. It's just like kind of pressure mounted. It just, there's a clip, you unclip it and it just pops out. So it's not soldered, which is also very good. It is very easy to change out. Okay, so I went ahead and put it together as much as I needed to turn it on and run some tests. There's still some screws out of it. The side panels aren't on, but it should be fine how it is now, just to pop a game in, see a few things with it, like the time and the date that it thinks it currently is without the battery and no internet connection. So here we go. We'll start up and take a look. So first thing, it thinks it's December 31st, 2011. So that's a little better than 1969, like we had it with the PlayStation 4. And it thinks it's 7 p.m. So let's back out here. Few things we can test. I mean, right away, I want to test, obviously, a disc-based game. So we'll pop in Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. We'll go ahead and drop that in real quick and see if it's able to load it up. Remember, with the PlayStation 4, it went to a black screen for a while, and then eventually it kicked back with an error code. Okay, so it looks like it is actually starting up for Devil May Cry 5. This completely offline, not connected to the network at all right now, and it thinking it's 2011. So this seems to be in good shape here for a PlayStation 5 game. Let's go ahead and try out a PS4 game. Go ahead and pop in Shadow of the Colossus, the same one we did a test with for the PlayStation 4, and I assume it's gonna play as well. This one also seems to play fine. So interestingly enough, it looks like the PlayStation 5 does not have the same CBOMB issue that we see with the PlayStation 4 that would essentially render that useless, let's say 20 years from now or something, if Sony decides to discontinue server access for the PlayStation 4 and that battery inside does die. So here we are, Shadow of the Colossus start screen, and what I'm gonna do now is we'll back out and we'll try out Astrobot. That's a digital game that came with the PlayStation 5, but you know what? So far, I'm kind of thinking it's mostly digital games that would be affected by this situation. And yeah, it looks like Astrobot is starting right up with no problems. Again, that game does come with every PlayStation 5, so I would assume this would start up since it's technically connected to each system, and if you bought the PS5, you technically own this game as well. Really wouldn't need to do any kind of online check-in for it. So I guess now we'll try one of the digital games that I have loaded up. So right away I can see some issues here with the different games that I have in the library digitally, because it has like the little lock icon next to it. Some of these are from that PlayStation Plus collection. Others are just digital games that I had purchased, like Persona 5 Strikers as an example. The one that I noticed that doesn't necessarily have a lock next to it is Horizon Zero Dawn. So let me go to that one. We'll hit play game. It does say can't use this content. To use this content, go to date and time and set the date and time using the internet. But I do wonder if I go to set date and time and I do it myself, if it'll work, because I'm not connected to the network now. So if I go back here and I set it, maybe it'll actually work. Okay, so I set the date and time correctly, April 23rd, 4:38 p.m. Still not connected to the internet, but if we go back here and now I try to load up Horizon Zero Dawn, I wonder if it still needs the internet connection to make that happen. It does. Can't use this content, uses content, go to date and time and set the date and time using the internet. And I did have some people ask before for the PlayStation 4 video that I did if replacing the battery would fix this issue. It would not. The way you could fix this issue is by reconnecting it to the internet like it's saying and set the date and time automatically through their servers. And I did see a lot of people online concerned that the PlayStation 5 did suffer from that same issue. It does not appear to. That's good news for that. And because that means that Sony most likely, yes, can patch the PlayStation 4, and I think it's worth bringing up with them so they can kind of put it more in line with what we have here with the PlayStation 5 for longevity of the product itself, of course, and the purchase that you've made, and game preservation as a whole. But let me know what you guys think about this situation with the PlayStation 5 here, not suffering from the exact same CBOMB issue that we see with the PlayStation 4. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.